Hello there, YouTube and various other websites across the internet. I've been unwell the last few days and been fighting off a migraine, but other than that, I have been playing Elden Ring. Been playing a fair bit of this over the last few weeks. I am at 23 hours played, which is nothing compared to some people, I'm aware, but I don't have infinite time. 23 hours, however, is quite a bit of time, and I have not been efficient with that time. I have messed about, I have explored, I have started a character, played it for 4 hours, realised I didn't like it, and started again. So, there are certain things to consider in that, but that's how this game is supposed to be played. If you've got someone who's played 10 hours of this and they've almost finished it, then they weren't exploring, they were following a guide, because that's not how this game gets played. Now, the thing about Elden Ring is that I think that whilst this is a great game, it is flawed. There is a lot of discussion at the moment around narrative methods and the way that mission logs are done and how stories are told through games. Now, I believe that that Elden Ring does a poor job, if I'm honest, of actually explaining what you're doing and why you're doing it. I actually have it running on the screen there. I'm recording my gameplay because all I'm showing is the map that I have, and I'm going to be highlighting different areas and explaining what you may find there to a degree, so that you can have a little idea what's happening going forwards. And additionally, I want to be able to talk about what the main story conceit is for Elden Ring, because I feel that you go into this knowing so little that you don't have enough motivation to continue on the story if you need a narrative motivation. Now, I'm happy to just play and explore just to see what happens, but having some more information does make it easier. So, what is the conceit of this? What is the theme? What is the point? Right. The Elden Ring is the source of power in this universe. It is. It's not a physical ring. It is a metaphysical thing made up of great runes. It is effectively the source code of the universe. So, what the Elden Ring is a pattern of loads of different runes called great runes, and they spell out the laws of the universe, known as the Golden Law or the Golden Order. Now, the Golden Order appears to be an interpretation of the runes of the Elden Ring, and that is a faction that exists within the game. So there are followers of the Golden Order. There is also a faith called the Two Fingers. These seem to be followers of some kind of religious faction, and I'm just going to show a little of my gameplay here. If we look here, I'm walking around in what is the hub area, the Roundtable Hold, and as you can see, there's a big table in the middle, but there's a few rooms you can go into, and once you've got a little way into the game, I've only gone past 2 main story bosses, so I'm still in the beginning areas. But once you get a little further in, there are various different NPCs you can talk to. I'm still trying to figure out where everything is, but it's not this way, it's somewhere else. But there is a room somewhere around here where you can talk to someone, and you can also see some information. I'm just trying to find it. Right, this is the blacksmith. I don't believe it's down here. I don't believe I've been down here. Nope, that's not down there. I don't know what's down there. So I always seem to get myself turned around. There's the woman who offers you hugs in there. So, is it up here? Yes, here it is. Up here. Now, I believe this door is closed. If you look, there's the fireplace. There's the door next to the fireplace leads to the blacksmith. The door over there leads to the merchant. That over there at the balcony, I believe if you jump over the balcony or go down from the balcony, there is a fight over there. I've not been in that room because I'm aware that there is a fight in that room somewhere that I don't know if I'm ready for. But this door opens at some point, I think, when you kill one of the bosses. And you can come in here, you can talk to this woman, who is a priestess, but also there are these two moving giant fingers that just seem to be disembodied fingers. I don't know if these are supposed to be the fingers of a celestial. Perhaps they are. You can literally go over and touch it and talk to it. And you get a little bit of information and backstory about the two fingers. So I believe the Two Fingers faction is literally worshipping these fingers as some kind of embodiment of a celestial creature. So yeah, that's what I think that the Two Fingers faction is, or at the very least that represents them in some way. So the Two Fingers is a faction of people who can control runes. The people who worship the Two Fingers, they're known as maidens, and you are a tarnished, which we'll come to in a minute. And the maidens allow you to spend runes to improve yourself, channel magic, improve your stats, things like that. So there must be a link between the Two Fingers and the Golden Order, this thing that the Elden Ring created. There is also the big tree, the Erd tree, which we'll have we can show off in various different gameplay. I won't show it off because it'll take too long for me to move around and show things off. I'm literally just putting in as little gameplay as needed because I don't want to show off too much or have to put in, frankly, too much editing. So, what is the Erd tree? The Erd tree appears to be this huge magical tree in the middle of the lands between, and from what we can tell, it is a source of great power. It gives off various different things. A lot of the magic items, a lot of the talismans are made of tears of the Erd tree, which appears to be like dew or something like that, or sap. So the Erd tree seems to be some kind of mystic tree that's growing from the Elden Ring, and I think that because the Elden Ring has shattered, that the Erd tree is dying. That's what I think the storyline's going down. I could be wrong, but that seems like a reasonable stance. So we've got the Elden Ring, which is the source code of the universe. We've got the interpretation of that, which is the Golden Order, which people are trying to enforce. And we've got the Erd tree, which is a giant magic tree that seems to be feeding off the Elden Ring. And these Two Fingers, which I think are as some kind of god's fingers, that is probably connected in some way, that the maidens worship, or at least follow in some way, or use as some focus, and they allow people to channel the runes. And we know that the Elden Ring is made of runes. So what caused the Elden Ring to break? Well, someone stole the great rune of death. And that's why undead creatures are all over the lands between. So someone ripped that rune out. That caused the ring to break, and various different great runes have been stolen by all the demigod children of Queen Merica. Now, Merica is important because she is a not necessarily celestial, but some kind of demigod immortal. And she appears to have taken favour on the Tarnished because she's the one who brought the Tarnished back. So we'll go into what the Tarnished are. The Tarnished are a group of people who were rejected by the Erd Tree and were cast out. I believe this also includes Queen Merica's husband. Now, there's a few different names all begin with God, like Godric, Godfrey, Godwin, and things like that, and I never know which ones are which. So, her husband was the first Lord of the Elden Ring, I believe, or something along those lines. Like the first Elden Lord. And he was cast out for some reason, which I haven't uncovered. And his, not necessarily his children, but Merica's children, Merica's demigod children, have all become these warped creatures. In some different way, as they grasp magic and they become various different powerful entities, and they are all seeking to take great runes from the shattered bits of the Elden Ring, so that they can gain power for themselves. And the intention, I believe, is that whoever can gain the most power can refit the Elden Ring the way they want, and they can then rewrite the Golden Law, the Golden Order, so they can make the laws of the universe what they want it to be. And because so many people are fighting over this, it's caused the lands between to start to decay and collapse. That's why everything is rotting, everything is horrible. Like if you go outside of Limgrave, the first place you start in, you'll find that the place gets quite dangerous. Like the ground seems to be constantly rotting, the skies are blood red, like things are going bad. And I believe that Merica has brought the Tarnished back in some way, or agents working in her favour have brought the Tarnished back in some way to try to reclaim the Great Runes and rebuild the Elden Ring so that the order can be re-established and the rot can be stopped. I think that's the main storyline, from what I've pieced together. Now, there are other factions. There are also the Three Fingers, which I think are a separate entity from the Two Fingers. They seem to be some kind of heretical version. They see prophecies, and those prophecies have burnt their eyes out, which is why they're blind. And it's heretical for them to have seen these prophecies. Whatever prophecies they saw, they were bad. And the Two Fingers don't like that. So what happened is they've been cast out. They have that big wheel stuck around their neck as like a sign that they are not to be trusted and things like that. They wear bandages across their eyes because whatever visions they got blinded them, and yet for some reason they're still able to see through magical means. It's interesting. I think the faith characters have a lot more invested in this, as the various different orders seem to have different interpretations on what the Elden Ring is, what the laws are supposed to be, and how you interpret all the runes. Now, I'm under the impression that you are supposed to be trying to become an Elden Lord by gathering the runes yourself, and possibly with the direction of Merica, to try and establish something that's not being built by one of her mad demigod children who seem to be corrupting the runes that they've got. That's what I think is the aim, anyway. There are also Sorcerers. They seem to be separate again, another faction. They seem to channel magic that's outside of the Erd Tree and the Elden Ring entirely. They use stars and the moon and things like that to channel magic in some way. And it's, from what I've been able to find, it seems that their power was waning as the Elden Ring got more powerful, and now that the Elden Ring has been shattered, sorcery is becoming more powerful again. So sorcerers and the like are starting to reassert their power. But they don't seem to be overly connected to the rest of it. I'm sure there's a lot of interplay between different factions within the Sorcerers. I haven't uncovered that much, which is a pity, given that I'm playing a main caster. I'm playing a Sorcerer, So I would have liked to uncover more of that, but I haven't found it yet. So that's what I think the main story is. My understanding is that Merika's husband, when he was cast out, he then had bastard children who then ended up having more children, and they ended up becoming the Tarnished. That's what I think's happened from what I've been able to piece together. If that's the case, that means we're of the same bloodline as the demigod children, which might explain why the Tarnished are a key figure, why there's people hunting the Tarnished, why Godric wants to kill the Tarnished and graft their limbs onto his weird mutant body. You'll see what I mean when you fight him. So yeah, I think that's what the Tarnished are all about. I think that the main reason you were expelled is out of your lineage rather than anything else. Although some of them will be expelled for other reasons, like the prophets obviously thrown out because they received heretical visions. The sorcerers are thrown out, like they're rejected by the Erd Tree and the Order because they practice heretical sorcery, or believe that the sorcery is supposed to be heretical. It's hard to say, but it doesn't really matter. I'm sure we'll come to that at a later point. But for whatever reason, the Tarnished are now being allowed back, being welcomed back by Merika, who is trying to push us to create the new Elden Ring, I think, by becoming an Elden Lord, gathering whatever great runes we can, because you get great runes when you kill big bosses, and presumably reconstruct the Elden Ring. That's what I think the whole plot is all about. So, that's enough, I think, that you can go into this game and you now understand what your purpose is and what you're doing, and it's enough of a basis that you can go around without being too confused, which is enough, I think. I think that's something that the game doesn't explain well enough. So hopefully I've provided enough information that you can go into that with some idea as to what to expect. But now let's have a little look at the map, because I want to give a little bit of not necessarily guidance, but just an idea as to where you should be going and what you should be doing at the very, very beginning of the game. So if you've just bought Elden Ring, you've just listened to me explain all of the metaphysics and the background, so you know why you're doing what you're doing. You're fighting the crazy demigod children of an immortal in order to get the great runes to rebuild the Elden Ring. I think that's what you're doing. Everything else is just side information that explains how it all works and why it all works and who the factions are. So, when you first wake up, you wake up here at the first step. You can see I've uncovered a fair few different areas, and I'm going to go through a few of them with you. When you first wake up, you'll notice right about here somewhere, there is the Tree Sentinel. You do not want to fight him. He will kill you. You walk around the Tree Sentinel. This should be obvious to everyone. You'll be surprised, however, how many people will get this wrong. There will be people who will be playing this game who will go, oh yeah, the Tree Sentinel, that's going to be the first boss, let's give it a go. They'll get killed by him, they'll hate the game, they'll switch it off, they'll then go and rant and give it a 1-star review on Metacritic or Amazon or whatever. Let's not have that happen. Let's actually have people understand what the hell they're doing. So yeah, the whole point of, there is a tutorial inside before you get to the first step, but the whole point of that night is to teach you that you can walk around things. You don't have to take them on first time. So, then you go to the Church of Ella. There is a merchant there. That's great. First merchant, you can buy some stuff. You then want to, as you can see, follow the lines up. This one wants you to go to Gatefront. You want to rest at Gatefront pretty much as soon as you can, because that's when you get Torrent, your mount. Once you've got Torrent, you can pretty much go wherever you want, because Torrent has a double jump, Torrent can dash and can move quite fast. This world is huge, so that's the first place you want to be going. Once you've got Torrent, you can generally just teleport back. You can always teleport back to any of these graces once you switch them on. If you teleport back down to the Church of Ella during the night, there will be a witch in a blue cloak. She will give you the summoning bell and your first summoning magic. This is vitally important. Summoning magic is really good in this game. You want it, you want to use it. So, where to go from there? Well, you can go anywhere you want, really. There's a few places of interest. If you go down the beach here, there is another merchant. There's plenty of stuff to do over here. There is a catacombs over here, which is well worth exploring. You can get some stuff in the catacomb to upgrade your spirits. There is a cave here, which is well worth exploring. There's materials in the cave. There's a boss at the end of the cave. There is another tunnel down here. You have to go down into this lake. You don't want to go too far in because a dragon will spawn in here, and he will probably kill you. But you do want to go into these tunnels, which are in the top corner of the cave, because those tunnels will lead you to an area where you can get smithing stones to upgrade your weapon. You want to check out these ruins. Specifically, there is a whetstone knife in the ruins that you do want. That knife will grant you the ability to add ashes of war to your weapons. It's a pretty vital, important part of your character build, so you do want to go for that. Other than that, just explore this area. There's people to fight, there's things to do. This is just the other side of the ruins. There's loads of knights, well, not necessarily knights, soldiers in the gatefront ruins. There's one with a particularly big shield. He killed me multiple times. But Margit, the first main story boss, I killed first time. But the guy with the big shield, who walks along this road, killed me multiple times. He's actually genuinely hard to fight if you're not used to Souls combat. So yeah, from here, there's a few different places you can go. Down here, you'll notice there is a ruins. There is a waypoint just south of the ruins. This is where Sorcerer Selin is. If you want to learn sorcery, she's the person you go to. She will teach you sorcery. So definitely someone to go to. I do not know of anyone who can teach you incantations. So if you're playing a faith build, I don't know of anyone on the main map who can teach you this yet. But I will get to that in a moment. So, she will teach you sorcery though, which is stuff for an intelligence build. Up here we have the Artist Shack, not overly important. What you do want to do, however, is you want to come all the way up here to the Third Church of America. Here you will find the Wondrous Flask of Physick, which is something you definitely want to check out. You will, by the way, when you first start, there won't be any map for you. You'll start the first step. Your first map will be in the ruins. That will open up the first half of this section. The second map will be around here-ish, and that will open up all of this section here. But yeah, the Third Church of America, or Marica, sorry, not America. Third Church of America, that's where you'll find your Wondrous Physick. You'll also find, if you go up here, there is a beetle, almost like this golden dung beetle with a big ball. You want to smash the hell out of that, because there is an Ash of War, that like these little dung beetles all have Ashes of War, that you can attach to your weapon. If you're playing a faith build, this is vital, because I don't know anywhere where you can buy spells early on, or incantations early on, for your faith builds. But this Ash of War basically gives you a holy sword that can throw out slashes of magic, which is really, really handy early on. It will be clutch for you, it will carry you a long way. There is a portal in this area here, this kind of dried up river. If you go to that portal, it will portal you all the way over here. This is a high-end area. You're not ready for this. Everything here will kill you. There are big monsters here that will wipe you out in a single hit. There's a dragon on this bridge that will kill you. There's a lot of poison and traps over here that will kill you. You do not want to go in that portal. It's death. It's just death. Do not do it. Unless you really, really fancy your chances in a high-end area, it is not a smart move. Additionally, there is another area that I would warn you against going through. Down here somewhere, I've not found it, but in the ruins in here somewhere, because I've not been in this lake, I know because I've seen other videos, there is a treasure chest somewhere in these dragon ruins that if you open it, it's a trap treasure chest. It will send you all the way over here into these crystal tunnels. The crystal tunnels are filled with enemies that you're way, way too low level to fight. They will kill you. If you find your way out, you're now in the middle of this horrific landscape, which is way too high level and you will die. So, don't do that. That's a bad move. So yeah, don't go in there. It's a trap. It's one of those things where, like, these things, I'm aware that some people playing this game, they'll find these things that'll excite them. But if you're a new player and you go into that portal, or if you go into that trap chest, you're going to find yourself in an area that's way too high level. You're going to get killed. You're going to be annoyed, especially as if you die in that area, it just takes you back to where the trap dropped you. So it's just going to frustrate you, and it's going to make you not want to continue playing the game. That's what I've discovered. A lot of new people playing this, they don't have the mentality of someone playing a Souls game. Honestly, I don't much like the Souls games. I don't like Dark Souls. I don't like Demon Souls. I really like Elden Ring, because Elden Ring has a lot more freedom to it. You can explore, you can get better, whereas a lot of the Souls games feel a lot like bashing your head against a brick wall. But on this map here, there are a few other things that I want to point out. There are a few storyline areas that you can build up. There's a few NPCs that you can find. I'm not going to point them all out, but explore this area, especially around up here. There are multiple NPCs up here you want to talk to. All along that road, there's plenty of enemies as well. There's a few things that I have spotted. Like pretty much all of these spots, there is an NPC somewhere nearby that is worth talking to. All along that main road there. So you want to go through all of that. There are a few different things that you want to try and take out. In this wood over here, you'll find a different summon. Like when you first teleport back here, there is a summon for 3 wolves, which is pretty good. The woman here will give you a summon for a big jellyfish. And in these woods here, you'll find a summon for 2 knights, which are also pretty good. I believe over here, though I've not got them yet, in the Summerwater Village, there is a boss fight where if you fight it and win, you can get a summon for some skeleton warriors, which are particularly good because they keep standing back up when they've been destroyed. So they don't die. When they die, they get back up on full health again, unless the boss specifically smashes their bones while they're on the floor, which most bosses don't do. So those summons are really, really good early game. So yeah. There are a few other things that are worth noting. If you come over here, there is the Bridge of Sacrifice. This is a heavily fortified bridge. You can just charge across it. If you get Torrent up to speed, you can charge across it. You want to be able to dodge the big arbalist, because that'll knock you straight off the horse. But if you do charge past it, over here there is a downed cart that has the Morning Star in it, which is a really good strength-based weapon with bleed on it. Over here, there is something similar. There's a cart just by the Agheel Lake North that has the flail, which is similar to the Morning Star, only it's dex-based. And that's also a pretty nice early weapon with bleed on it. Bleed is a nice one to have to start with. there's also a great sword and various other things that you can find here. The guys here will drop brass shields, things like that. They'll drop armour if you kill them. Not always, but regularly. Well worth going for. Up here, if you go through this gate, again, fortified gate, you'll have to fight your way through or just charge through. You get through up this area. Here, at Saints Bridge, you'll find just before the bridge there is kind of like a camp that you can fight through here. It's not marked on the map, but that camp is an area with a few fairly difficult soldiers to fight if you're not used to the combat. But if you can beat them, inside the chest is a really nice early heater shield. So well worth going if you want a shield with 100% physical block. I would recommend that. If you do cross down onto this island, you'll notice that you don't have a map for it. The map is down here somewhere, right by this this site of grace. I haven't been down here. As soon as you get here, you start getting shot at by giant arbalists. So I've not been in that part of the island yet. But from here, there's a few places you might want to explore. Over here is the demi-human forest ruins. If you can beat a boss there, you will find the demi-human staff, which is a really good early game staff for a sorcerer. Well worth going for. I highly recommend doing that. There is a boss in the Weeping Everjail. I had a fairly decent time taking him out. I can't remember what you got for him actually, but yeah, just a few things I thought I'd point out that were interesting and worth going for. Is there anything else I want to point out? Oh yes, of course. This is the way to the main storyline. Obviously, it wants you to follow the road round and into the castle to fight the main bosses. The first two bosses are in this castle. You can, however, bypass them completely. Now, if you go all the way through the castle, you'll come out the other side to the lake-facing cliffs. But if you follow this underneath the bridge to here, there is a small pathway that you can follow that goes all the way around the outer edges of the walls and comes out here at the lake-facing cliffs. Now, if you follow that, you can find that you can almost sequence break the game a little bit. Now, this is something that is very common knowledge, but this is something I highly recommend you do, especially if you are a faith build, because if you follow that route and go to the lake-facing cliffs before you go into this castle, you will get invited to the Roundtable Hold, which is where we are here. And from the Roundtable Hold, in here, you can talk to this guy, and he can teach you incantations. Now, these are really useful to have, because he teaches you Flame Sling, which is one of the best early incantations you can have, because it's a long-range fireball spell. Catch Flame is very, very powerful short-range attack. I don't know too much about the heal, I've not used them. I don't really know about the fortification spells. Rejection is not too bad actually, it's kind of like a force push, pushes everyone away. But this is the first faith-based guy that I know of. I don't know anyone else that can teach you any other faith-based magic. So you definitely want to come here. But also, when you come here, you can go, see that the fire is there, down here. You can go into here and talk to this guy over here. He is the blacksmith. He's the only way you can get weapons past a +3. So if you want to upgrade something past a +3, I've got a +7 Noble's Magic Estoc. Now, that's my primary weapon at the moment, which is scaling off intelligence, which is nice. But yeah, the way that I've got this set up being here allows me to really overpower my weapons, and it means you can do this before Margit. So if we go back into the map, you'll see that if you do go here, again, this will be in an area where you don't have the map. Once you've got to here, you can then go back and you can come through here and you can fight off the various different things. This castle, by the way, is huge. It's a massive part of the game. I do recommend you actually do it fairly early on. Margit's not that hard. Really not. If you've got the soldiers here or the skeleton summons over here, if you've built yourself a decent character, you're around level 20, you should be fine. If you can get to about level 20 to 25, you should be fine. I was I think level 19 when I came up to fight Margit. So yeah, and I beat Margit first time. I had Godric's Soldiers, which is a summon that I found in this wood, and I was just casting magic. I had the noble Estoc, which I found over here. I don't know if it always drops, but I fought some guys just outside Fort Height, and that's where I found the noble Estoc. Fort Height, by the way, clearing this is part of a storyline. So if you can find Kenneth Height in Limgrave, he is around somewhere. I don't remember exactly where he is. I didn't mark it, but he is around somewhere in the starting area. If you find him, he will give you a lot of backstory about the various different factions. He's an interesting character to talk to, so keep a lookout for him. I think he might have been like somewhere over here, like on this road somewhere. Probably here somewhere by Saints Bridge, I think. I think that's where he was, but I can't be sure. So yeah, that's what I would advise going into this game. Those are the different areas that I think are interesting, and I think that if you follow this this very beginner's area, you can have a great first 3 hours of the game. From there, you'll have got a feel for it. You'll have fought a few bosses. You'll have upgraded a few weapons. You'll have your build the way you want it. Rather than going in completely blind and not knowing what you're doing or where you're going, you'll feel like you've got some power as to what you're doing. And you'll be able to decide where you want to go, what you want to do. I've not discovered everything, obviously. Like, I've barely been up here. Like, I've had a bit of an explore. I've uncovered the maps. I went over here to this crystal tunnel because I want to explore the crystal tunnel and see if I can get some more upgrades. I've tried to explore Caelid a little. This is terrifying, this area, by the way. I've only explored some of it. And I've kind of run from place to place because the things there are dangerous. So it's not easy to fight your way through these areas when you're still lower level, but it's fun. There's still bits of this island here I've not explored, so I'm still early game here. I have no idea how you get onto this island. I'm sure there's a teleporter or something somewhere. Yeah. There's plenty to do, plenty to search for. Again, no idea how you get to this. But there are a few other things, like for example, along this road here, from the Artist Shack all the way down. Again, getting the map for this area is a pain in the arse. It's somewhere in the swamps, I believe. There's a map somewhere in the swamps around here, and I think there's a map somewhere over here, but I can't remember where exactly. But along this road, there is a warrior in gold armour, and if you can find and kill him, he will drop a prayer book that I believe you can take back to the Roundtable and give to the priest, give to the prophet, and he should be able to use that to teach you the lightning bolt spell. Now that's a faith-based spell, so I do not have any real experience of that. I just know that he's there. I've heard that he is a good one to look out for because the lightning bolt spell is a particularly good incantation. It's really good for a faith build. Again, I am not too familiar with that, but that's where I believe he is. something to look out for. If, like me, you're playing a Sorcerer build, being around here is where you want to be, because there are a few things that you want to look out for. These ruins here are particularly useful. If you can get near to these ruins, like I believe it's this building here, you'll find the meteorite staff, and around here somewhere you'll find a spell inside a basement that is particularly good with the meteorite staff, where it picks rocks up and throws them at your enemy. Very powerful spell, and it goes very well with the meteorite staff, which is a staff you can't upgrade, but it's way more powerful than any of the early staffs, unless you've upgraded them to like +8 or more. It's the staff I'm currently using, but it is in the middle of Caelid. The creatures around here are quite dangerous, so you want to be careful. There are a few places that I have discovered. If you come to this bridge here, you will get invaded by a red phantom creature. It's the same way as PvP would work, only it's not actually a PvP invasion. This will happen if you're playing single player, if you're playing offline. A PvP style invasion will happen around here on this little road. Same when I came up here, on this bend here, another PvP style invasion happened here. I don't know if these always happen at this point, but they always happen at this point for me with the character I'm playing, unless you kill them. So yeah, that's something to watch out for. One thing that I have done is I went into the study hall here, and I've been exploring here again. I managed to make my way up to the top, and I managed to cheese a fight with another invasion that happened here. That was fun. It was someone who summons like a giant archery spell. I didn't get that spell off them. I was kind of hoping that they would drop that spell, but I don't know where you get it. But I managed to cheese that by climbing up onto the rafters and throwing rocks, throwing the rock spell, because the rock spell has a range, because the rocks would fly and then they'd hit the ground. But if you're up on the rafters, you can just drop them and they'll just keep falling until they hit the floor. So I could be right up on the rafters and I could just aim and just continuously throw rocks until they died. And their spells couldn't reach me up on the rafters. So I managed to kill them. I think I kind of cheesed it. There was no way I was able to kill them. Like, my spells were barely scratching them. And they could two-shot me. So, that is not supposed to be something I can do at my level, and like I'm no slouch. Like, I'm level 46, so yeah. As you can see, I've got Vigor, Mind, Intelligence at 25. I am not a Faith build. I can't use Faith, so yeah. I think I've got a decent spread. I wanted to make sure that everything was at least even enough that that I wasn't too ruined by anything. Like, my strength and dex are a little higher than probably they should be, but they're that high so that I can get a good use out of a few different weapons. I do have my sword there, but also I've used a few other weapons as well. One weapon that I have used a fair bit is the Morningstar, which is also a +8. That Morningstar is really, really nice. I've got a fair bit of use out of that because when I was in the Crystal Caverns, the crystal enemies are very weak to it, whereas the sword does nothing to them. So yeah, that was useful for me. But even with all of those weapons, I'm still only on a medium load, so I'm quite good with that. I did find this Crimson Hood. I can't remember where I found this, but this is really nice. If I can get it to change view, where is it? Switch view, no. Help, no. How do I get it to show me more information? Display, there we go. Yeah. This, I believe, is Roderica's hood, but it increases Vigor. which is lovely. Like, it actually, I don't know how much by, but it definitely increases vigour. And if we look, it's a 21. It increases it by 1, but it's still nice. It's still nice to have. Like, it's a free level. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I want to share. This is a great game. I highly recommend you play it. It is a lot of fun, but not a lot of people want to play it like Dark Souls. And that's the problem. Is a lot of people think that the only way to play this game is Dark Souls-like, and that's not true. This game can be played in a multitude of ways. You can play it like a traditional open world game, and it can be a lot of fun. So don't feel like you have to play this like a Souls game. You can go into this and play it like you would any other open world game. You can go and you can level up, you can find spells, and find summons, and you don't have to go in with a shield and a sword and dodge roll your way through every fight. In fact, if you do that, you will get killed. By design, the game is purposely designed to punish people who think that you can only play it in one rigid way. So go in and have fun. Now, I'm aware that a lot of the Elden Ring community will hate this video because I have shared a lot of information. I've explained where a lot of things are, and that's not the meaning of Elden Ring. That's not the point of Elden Ring. The whole point is that you don't know what you're doing, and you're supposed to explore for yourself. And you know what? Bullshit. I know for a fact that the average person is looking up on YouTube guides on how to do this. If you search Elden Ring, it is filled with guides on the most powerful builds and the best way to build various different overpowered combinations. There are already loads of walkthroughs. I know for a fact that people are Googling this stuff. So why not just tell people a few things about the game so that they can go in knowing what to expect. I will also advise, don't do what I did. Don't pick the astrologer and think, oh yeah, of course, the spellcaster, they're going to be the best for casting spells. Because I've already told you where you can find your first staff, the demi-human staff. Or if you really feel like it, you can go for the meteorite staff. So you already know where the staff is. You already know where the sorcerer teacher is, so they can teach you some spells. Play the wretch. Honestly, if you play anyone else, you're going to start at around level 8 or 9. And you'll have a various different spread of stats. Some will be as high as 16, some will be as low as 7. But it'll average out to around 10 per stat. But you'll start at level 8 or 9. If you play the wretch, you start at level 1, but you have 10 in every stat. What that means is that once you've got the equipment you need, which you can find throughout the game, like I have found so many different weapons and bits of armour that I could have equipped myself, but I already had equipment, so I wasn't really using the loot. But if you're playing a wretch, you will use the loot that you pick up, which means all the different things that you discover and fight, all the different things you pick up, you're going to be excited to try it out and see if it's better than what you've got. You'll be constantly changing and experimenting. It will be more fun. Additionally, when you do level up, you're going to have about 8 levels additional on top of everyone else because you started at level 1. So the amount of experience points that you need, the amount of runes you need to spend to get up to the next level is lower. That means the wretch at level 50 is better than every other class at level 50. You're around 8 levels higher. Effectively, if you're level 50, the wretch is equivalent to about level 58. And it might not sound like much, but when you get up past level 40 and 50, it takes a lot to level you further. So there's extra 8 levels. They can be the difference between you being decent and being really overpowered. Like, play the wretch, seriously. You can buy whatever spells you want. You can find whatever equipment you want. Within the first hour, you'll have a decent sword, a decent shield. Hell, that first merchant that first merchant is enough that you'll be able to buy a bow, a sword, a decent set of armour, because you can get like a chainmail armour set from the very first merchant you meet. And you can just go to the first ruins, kill a few guards, use that to get enough runes together that you can go back to the first merchant, buy a couple of little things, improve yourself just slightly, and you keep going backwards and forwards. It takes, all of half an hour, and you've already made up the difference. But late game, those extra levels as a wretch are going to make so much of a difference. You'll have such a more customised character, and you'll feel more powerful in the long run. Like, honestly, knowing what I know now, I wish I'd started as a wretch, because the wretch really does have the best start by having the worst. It's bizarre, but it's true. So yeah, anyway, that's all I want to say. I hope you enjoy the game, and yeah, Elden Ring. It actually deserves a lot of the hype it's been getting. See you next time. Bye.